Okay, so this is my personal experience with parent alienation. For the ones that doesn't know my story, I have a little bit pinned at the top of my TikTok page, like mostly like present stuff, like what happened, what's going on presently. This is a little more detailed because some people have asked me, you know, what's going on, what's the story behind it. So this is it. I have gotten a lot of backlash from people saying, why have you waited for so long? Or there must be more to it for law enforcement not to help out. So let me explain. Yes, it's been 13 years since I've seen my son. He was 2 then, and now he is 15 years old. Yes, there is a lot of time that was missed. Trust me, I know. But do you know that there is a such thing as something called the silent parent phenomenon? And it is when the system becomes part of the harm. When you tried continuously to file reports, talk to law enforcement, contact lawyers, etc., all that stuff, and nothing is being done, and it becomes traumatizing. It's not that I gave up. And it's because I learned that the system wasn't designed to protect me or my son. It is draining emotionally to have people that are supposed to protect you shut the door in your face. I realized that asking for help did more harm than good. And as far as there must be more to it, no, there's not. We were together for 3 years and then split up just before my son turned 2 years old. Because my son's father was abusive towards me. And if anything that is my fault in all of this, it's not that it's the only thing that would be my fault in this part is that I should have reported the abuse. But I didn't because I was scared. I can't go back and change that now. After we separated, we both agreed that we didn't want to go to court. So we verbally agreed on a visitation schedule. We split the weeks, exchanging custody on Wednesdays and Saturdays. I like taking my son to church. So Saturday evenings were like the best time to exchange, get up, go to church the next morning. Also, my son loved when I took him to the local wrestling matches. So we went and watched those together. That was our mom and son time, and I'm trying not to cry. Everything went well for about 4 or 5 months until one Saturday I went over to pick my son up and found out through a neighbor of his that he moved out the day before. I immediately tried calling my ex, and after many attempts, he finally answered and told me that I would never see my son again. I immediately called law enforcement, and they said that they would investigate it, but no BOLO and no Amber Alert was ever put out. Over the next few months, I searched for him and constantly called the investigator about updates until he finally said that this is a civil matter and that I need to hire a lawyer. I found a local lawyer and explained everything to him. His advice was that I needed to locate him first before they could serve him papers. Once again, I was left to investigate myself. 2.5 years passed, and during that time, I got married. One day we were at Walmart and I saw my son, his father, and his father's new wife, and I went back and waited in my car for them to come out. Coincidentally, they were parked in front of us. I had no clue until I saw them. My heart dropped. Luckily they didn't see me as far as I know. So I followed them to their house, parked down the road, and called the lawyer that I spoke with, and he told me to call law enforcement to make a report. I did. They advised me not to approach. Of course, they never showed up. And after several attempts to get them to go to the address, they finally did. Almost a month later. And then when they got there, they found that from the neighbor, they moved out. Once again, I was left on my own. A few months passed, and I found their address again. I called law enforcement, but they said that they could only do a welfare check. They did, and just said that they saw my son, and he was okay. And that was that. A few weeks later, my now ex-husband and I separated. My ex-husband went to where my son was living and told my son's father that I knew where they were and that I was coming for them. And they immediately packed up that week and moved again. Years went by, and I did my own investigating and found them in Florida. And then that's where you can read the rest of the story that I pinned on the video on TikTok that says, I had went down there and, and everything. All of this has led to severe depression and not trusting the legal system. And let me make this real clear. I have never given up on my son. Even after all the years, all the investigating and research I have done. All the parental laws say that this is a crime. My son's father and I were never married, and he never established paternity. His dad is a convicted felon who is manipulative, dishonest, and downright cold-hearted. He's brainwashed my son and everybody that was around him. And this is one of the reasons why I wanted to expose corruption that is going on in our judicial system. Some things that my son has missed. He had 2 great-grandparents that died during this time. His great-grandmother loved him dearly. And she missed him a lot. She missed him a lot. He has 2 older half-sisters that, my son was really close to. Even at 2 years old, he was still really close to them. They all loved each other, and they missed him so much. And, you as the other parent, you think that you are hurting the other parent by alienating the child, but you're not. It hurts more. There's more people that you're hurting from this, like siblings. Another thing that I would tell him is that I got married to a really awesome guy who has had my back this whole time trying to find my son. He knows everything. And he helped me got through this. And when we got married, my mom surprised me with, on my bouquet of flowers, there was a little picture in a frame of my son, so he could be there with me and walk me down the aisle. The things that I need to tell my son is I have a lot of health issues going on. And, I have autoimmune disease, and recently they found this spot on my brain and all. And I'm not saying that I'm dying. I'm just saying, I want my son to know that if something happened, that I never gave up on him. And I've told my girls, and I've told my husband now, if anything was to happen, please just continue looking for him and fighting for him. And when you talk to him, you tell my story about his mama loved him very much. And I will never, never, never give up on him. Never. I don't want to wait any longer. But when he turns 18, I guess I'll make a trip to Florida. And I will stand out in the street if I have to and wait. Because you can only go so long with your lies and your deception. You can only go so long before it comes back and bites you and the truth comes out. Because I know my son has probably asked questions. I don't want to wait any longer. But I'm tired of the judicial system, the way that the corruption is done, and slamming the door in my face and everything. And that's okay. I have a God on my side. And He knows who's right and who's wrong.